Cut me, I won't bleed. Gas me, I won't breathe. Stab me, shoot me, slash me, smash me. I have swallowed science. I am God, alone. Appease our engagement overlords. Hit the like and subscribe button to bring me one step closer to taking over the galaxies. The story is set sometime in the future. 3 soldiers named Chen, Jack, and Lisa work security for a mining corporation called Sesco in Montana. But this isn't Montana as anyone would recognize it. One of the most beautiful states in the country, and there's simply no nature left. It's now just industry, acid, and profit. Chen, Jack, and Lisa are not normal humans. They've been modified so heavily that the word human barely applies to them anymore. Their bodies are full of something called weevil tech, microscopic worms that live inside them and process whatever they consume into usable energy. They don't need food in the traditional sense, nor do they require clean water. They can eat sand, mud, and rock. They can survive impacts at hundreds of kilometers per hour. When they jump out of their ship and hit the ground, their exoskeletons shatter, their bones break, and they get up and keep going. If Lisa's femur punches through her thigh on landing, she calls it a clean break and moves on. If Jack loses an arm, it simply regrows. They are, for all practical purposes, indestructible. Their job is to defend the mining operation from intruders. One night, their perimeter sensors pick up a hostile contact moving through the tailings mountains. They scramble a hunter ship and go after it. They're expecting a bioengineered weapon, some kind of corporate sabotage. But when they corner the thing in a gully, it's not a weapon at all. It's a dog. A real biological unmodified dog with matted fur, bleeding paws, chemical burns, and facing starvation. Jack recognizes it first, and it's because he saw one in a zoo once. Lisa, though, she wants to slag it immediately. She already has her weapon shouldered, but Jack stops her. He grabs the dog and it bites into his arm and won't let go. Blood, it sprays everywhere. And Jack laughs. His bleeding stops almost instantly. Then he pulls out a knife and slices his own arm off. The dog eats the arm, and then it throws up. Their flesh is incompatible. They're too full of mercury and lead, and whatever else runs through post-human blood. Things that used to be poison don't matter to them anymore. These people are so far removed from biological life that an actual living animal can't even digest them. They're as alien to it as it is alien to them. They bring the dog back to their bunker and report it to their boss. Nobody believes them at first. Lisa ran the dog's DNA and confirmed it's real, but Sesco doesn't know what to do with it. It's not in the manual. So they send out a biologist named Mushafar, and the story makes clear that this is considered a dead-end career. Because in this world, there are almost no animals left to study. It's a world so ruined by corporations that nature itself ceases to exist. Mushafar arrives and examines the dog. He confirms it's real when he takes a blood sample, and then he prepares to leave. When they ask him if he's going to take the dog with him, he's genuinely surprised by the question. Why would he? He has the DNA. A live specimen is expensive to maintain. Just to keep it alive, you'd need clean rooms, air filters, special lights, and you'd have to manufacture its food from scratch. Jack and Lisa, they can't agree on what to do with it. Lisa wants to cook it, and Jack wants to keep it, and so Chen is the tiebreaker. He decides they should keep it, mostly because it's like having their own zoo. Before long, the team realizes the dog is a disaster to take care of. It poops on their floor, it gets sick for no reason, and worse, it heals slowly. When its bones are broken, they take weeks to mend, something the team struggles to comprehend. Lisa slices into its skin at one point just to watch it bleed. She's fascinated, because the blood doesn't stop. It takes minutes for clotting to even begin. It's as delicate as a rock. You break it, and it never comes back together. But then Jack teaches the dog to shake hands, and he reads old databases about dogs and how they were trained. When the dog holds out its paw and looks up at Chen with solemn amber eyes, Chen's alarmed. The concept of a dog's love is so foreign, he can't even name it. To him, it's like communicating with an alien. It's unfamiliar because it wasn't engineered to follow commands and live amongst the sand and slag. It does things on its own, for its own reasons. And that shakes him. Cut me, I won't bleed. Gas me, I won't breathe. Stab me, shoot me, slash me, smash me. I have swallowed science. I am God. Alone. Chen reads a poem called Dead Man by someone named Yearly, and he's described as humanity's last mortal poet. A man who refused all gene modifications and refused to take drugs that could have saved him from dying of cancer. He thought being human meant having animals, the whole web of life. He didn't want to live without them, and so he died. Lisa identifies the poem right away. She learned about Yearly in school, but she's dismissive. She says his refusal to take the drugs was just a play for attention. Chen pushes back. He says, "We used to be like that dog." And Lisa's response is one word. Pathetic. Chen responds, scary. Chen asks Lisa if she ever wonders what would happen to them without their science, without weevil tech and cell stims, and everything that keeps them alive. She laughs it off, but Chen won't let it go. That dog's different from a bio job. It looks at us, and there's something there, and it's not us. I mean, take any bio job out there, and it's basically us, poured into another shape. But not that dog. To Lisa, the dog doesn't matter. It can't, because she doesn't have the framework for it anymore. She doesn't have the capability of loving this creature. They take the dog to Hawaii for a vacation, and just like Montana, Hawaii in this world isn't anything you would recognize. The ocean is black and metallic. Lisa swims through it and comes out glistening with petroleum. Jack sets the ocean on fire with his weapon, and they watch the sun go down through veils of smoke while flaming waves crash on the shore. The world's most beautiful beaches are now full of barbed wire and rusting scrap iron. They amputate Lisa's limbs as part of a sex act. Yeah, that's right. You heard it correctly. They amputate her limbs as part of a sex act. It's a trend from Los Angeles described as an experiment in vulnerability. And Lisa, lying there on the sand, limbless and already regrowing, looks over at the dog and says, "This is as close as I'll ever get to it. It's vulnerable to everything. It can't swim in the ocean. It can't eat anything. We have to fly its food to it. We have to scrub its water. Dead end of an evolutionary chain. Without science, we'd be as vulnerable as it. This is as close to death as I've ever been." And then Chen says something that I think is the philosophical center of this entire story. If someone came here from the past to meet us here and now, what do you think they'd say about us? Would they even call us human? And Lisa looks at him seriously and says, no, they'd call us gods. The dog gets tangled in barbed wire on the last day. It's just shredded to pieces and its legs are broken. It's gnawed one of its own paws half off trying to get free. Lisa is furious at Jack for not watching it. They kneel down to start cutting it free. And then Jack, the one that wanted to keep it, the one who taught it to shake, says he thinks they should eat it. His reasons are practical. He's spending half his salary on food pellets that are specifically manufactured for the dog. And the dog requires constant attention. It's always getting hurt or sick. And he wants to buy things for himself. He wants more tattoos and upgrades. He wants to play the new immersive response video game. So talking about the dog, Jack asks, what the fuck good does it do? And Chen responds, it makes you smile. Jack says, immersive response makes you smile, and you don't have to clean up after its crap. They all look at each other, and then down at the dog. Lisa roasts it on a spit over burning plastics and petroleum skimmed from the ocean. Chen says it tasted okay, but in the end it was hard to understand what the big deal was. He's eaten Slag centaur that tasted better. Still, I remember when the dog licked my face and hauled its shaggy bulk into my bed, and I remember its warm breathing beside me. And sometimes I miss it. The dog is gone, and the loss barely registers. Chen feels something, but it's not enough to matter. It wasn't enough to save the dog, and it's not enough to haunt him. Yearly, the poet, he chose to die rather than live in a world without animals. Jack, Chen, and Lisa, they chose to eat the dog rather than miss out on a video game upgrade. Despite being the central focus, the story isn't about a dog. It's about what happens when comfort and invulnerability replace the capacity to care. Chen, Jack, and Lisa, they're not horrible people. They're not cruel in any deliberate sense. They're simply so far beyond vulnerability that they can't recognize it as something worth protecting. The dog is the last fragile thing in their world, and they find it interesting for a while. But then they eat it because feeding it was just cutting into their entertainment budget. And they don't feel bad about it. That's the point. They can't feel bad about it. Whatever part of them would have felt that, it's gone. It was engineered out, or it was never compatible with what they've become. I think this story connects to something real. We live in a world that is constantly making things easier and more convenient and more frictionless. And most of that is good. But Bacigalupi is proposing an extreme endpoint to it. It also raises some interesting questions. Once we've removed all vulnerability, do we also remove the thing that makes compassion possible? If nothing can hurt you, can you still understand what it means for something else to hurt? Let me know your thoughts about the people of Santa Slag in the comments below. If you haven't read it, I've also left a link to the full story in the description. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends, family, and even your enemies. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, because every subscriber inches me one step closer to taking over the galaxies. Until next time, take care, keep reading, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.